The question a lot of football fans asking, maybe even you, who is new Denver Broncos quarterback Jarrett Stidham, who will start the AFC Championship game? Trista, who the hell is Jarrett Stidham?
What was crazy is Nick is even back from the time he was in college, he's kind of never really been, or at least started out as the guy. Starts out at Baylor and ends up having to be the backup for Seth Russell. And Seth Russell, like Bo Nix, goes down with an injury, and then Stidham comes in and is the starter there. Doesn't get guaranteed the job, and then so he ends up transferring to Auburn. And then he gets drafted by New England, the team now that he's going to have to play against.
That's in Tom Brady's last year that Stidham gets drafted in 2019. And if people remember, at the end of the 22 season, Derek Carr doesn't play the final couple games. Stidham played pretty well for the Raiders. Like almost won a game against the 49ers in overtime, one of the years that San Francisco was really good. Sean Payton gets hired as Broncos head coach, and on literally, not figuratively, literally, the first day of free agency for Sean Payton as Broncos head coach, they signed Jarrett Stidham. So clearly, Trista, this is a quarterback that Sean Payton likes.
I do love that the first day, right, like when he goes up and says, hey, Bo Nix is out, but you better watch out for Stiddy. He has a little nickname for him. Everybody's like, the pundits are, oh, he's going to be slinging it. I think it's kind of setting up for as high of an expectation around the punditry and the coaching circles as you can get for a backup.
The Patriots were interested in bringing Stidham in at some point in the recent past, right?
Yeah, Vrabel said that they were thinking about bringing him back because obviously he played for Josh McDaniels in Las Vegas, and they've got a relationship, and it just ended up not working out money-wise. So Vrabel's got a lot of respect for Jarrett Stidham as well.
And Josh Dobbs ends up being the Patriots' backup quarterback. Stidham ends up staying in Denver. Stidham going to start this game against New England for the AFC Championship. And when we think about the game itself, you know, Denver's going to be, with Bo Nix, probably a pretty small home favorite against New England in the AFC Championship game. Now a pretty significant home underdog here. Trista, what do you think the Broncos need to do to rally around their backup quarterback and get to Super Bowl 60?
Well, we need to see the defense come to play. That is, I think, number one for me. We need lockdown defense. We need Sean Payton to create a set of plays for him to feel comfortable right away. Because, listen, this Patriots defense and Mike Vrabel is known for creating pressure and getting in your head, and I think that's what New England's going to try to do right away.
Now, I'll say this for the Broncos, and like Broncos fans, maybe you're one of them watching right now. They get really salty, Trista, when you say this, even though it's the truth. Like, you shouldn't care. Like, your team is awesome this year. Like, Sean Payton calls plays a lot of the times to hide Bo Nix.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of throws behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of short. And I'm not saying Bo Nix he played well when they beat the Broncos over the weekend. So it's not that he's bad, but I don't know that Payton's going to have to change the game plan that much. Now, Stidham can't run the way that Bo Nix can, but I think this is by and large going to be the same game plan throwing the football with Stidham as it was with Bo Nix.
Yeah, man, I have a lot of Oregon fans that are upset with me as an Oregon alum for saying that there are other quarterbacks that I believe in the AFC more than Bo Nix. We're going to have to see over time whether Bo Nix has all of the capabilities physically to make the kinds of throws that we saw from someone like Caleb Williams a couple of days ago. Forgive me if I'm a little reluctant to say that Bo Nix is some sort of world beater.
I wonder if the Oregon fans were demanding you to say that Joey Harrington was the best quarterback in the NFC North once upon a time for the Detroit Lions. Now, if you're a Broncos fan, what you need to do is you're upset right now. I would be upset if I were you also, right? You want your starting quarterback in the AFC Championship game. You pop in some tape of Nick Foles back in 2017 when Carson Wentz tears his ACL in L.A. at the beginning of December. You want to pop in some tape of Phil Simms getting hurt at the end of the 1990 season. Jeff Hostetler comes in. Foles leads the Eagles to a win in Super Bowl 52 over the Patriots. Hostetler leads the Giants to a win in Super Bowl 25 over the Buffalo Bills. And probably, Trista, what I think the Broncos need from Stidham is probably something in the middle, where I don't think you can expect Stidham to ball out the way Nick Foles did and outduel Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, but probably needs to give a little more than Jeff Hostetler did with the Giants defense and the kicking game carrying Big Blue to a Super Bowl. That sound about right, somewhere in between Hostetler and Foles for you?
1,000%. I was at that Super Bowl with the Philly, and what we saw from Nick Foles was like legendary. It was folklore. It was statue-producing sort of play. We don't need that from Jarrett Stidham. This is a wide open field. Really just get to the Super Bowl, use your defense and your head coach to protect your quarterback like they were already doing for Bo Nix anyway. And I think the Rams and the Seahawks are very vulnerable in different ways. Yes, the Rams defensively showed up against Chicago, but we've seen them be pretty much up and down all season long. And offensively, who knows what we're going to get from Matt Stafford with his hand or finger injury.
Hostetler ends up starting games for the Giants after winning Super Bowl 25, ends up starting games for the then Oakland Raiders, the LA Raiders. Foles gives up the starting job to Wentz when Wentz is healthy, but he starts a ton of games for the Eagles, gets paid to start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Both of those guys use the Super Bowl triumph as a backup to extend their careers and become starting quarterbacks. If this goes well for Jarrett Stidham, what could potentially happen for him if this goes well on Sunday and maybe on Super Bowl Sunday?
Someone's going to give him a look. There are teams that need a quarterback and they're not in a position to draft one. And I think this is going to be the free agency of backups becoming starters. There's a bunch of guys like Malik Willis. To a degree, maybe Jacoby Brissett comes back into the mix and becomes a starter. I think we're just seeing these young quarterbacks. Some of them are not ready. That's why we're bringing back these old heads. And so that opens up the opportunity for these backups who have shined when their starting quarterbacks have gone down to get an opportunity to at least start on a bad team.
If Jarrett Stidham plays well on Sunday, and let's say the Broncos lose and he plays really well, he's definitely going to get looks to start. And now, I'm not saying he's going to get $250 million guaranteed, but he could be a bridge quarterback or get a short-term contract if he plays really well. He plays well and they win, and then he plays well in the Super Bowl, we could be having a different conversation. But it feels like, obviously it stinks that Bo Nix got hurt, but what an opportunity this is for the young man, Trysta, Jarrett Stidham.
1,000%. If you're Miami, why not take a look? If you're a team like Pittsburgh, if Aaron Rodgers retires, just take a look. Bridge quarterbacks are the new wave, Nick.